LBR LBO Brand Summit 2017.
So let me first thank LBR and LBO for inviting us to talk at this session. As a company, we are very excited about this space. We're doing fantastic things around this area of individualization. Yeah, I think there's no better time than now just to talk about it. If I can have the slides. Yeah, okay. So I want to talk about the Pick Me platform. To most of us, to most of our passengers, they only think about the app. And in fact, behind that app, there's a lot of action that takes place. Of course, we get data about the passengers and the drivers, such as location, etc. But there's so many other things that happen around it. Moving away from the passengers and the drivers, we get a lot of data about locations, right? We understand what kind of location is this? How many people does this location attract? And then we understand people going into that location. What kind of profile are they? So these are very interesting data that we get on a day-to-day basis. I mean, the city of Colombo has a lot of interesting things happening on a daily basis. Last financial year, the Pick Me platform completed over 10 million rides. And it's in fact very amusing and it's very interesting to see how people move around. I have a video, a 24-hour clip. It's not a 24-hour clip, but it's a one-minute clip, concise to a minute. But just shows you how people move around by way of showing you blips of people hailing taxis in the city. If I can have that clip. So to your left corner, you see the time. That's 2 a.m. in the morning, and then it runs, and you can see the blips showing people hailing. And as day breaks, you can see a lot more blips coming in. And that just shows how many people are now getting to offices, going to school, etc. We have people moving in from the suburbs of Colombo. And then a lot of action in the main city. So 12 noon, 1 p.m., 2 p.m., we have a lot of the school movement that takes place. And then obviously when 3 o'clock hits, the government offices are closing, the private sector is closing, and there's a lot of action in the evening. And that's when you open the app, you don't see any vehicles, right? So as night comes in, there's a lot of vehicles, there's a lot of movements, a lot of people still using the app to get around from point A to point B. So that's just a snapshot of how a day's activity takes place on our platform. Okay, to us, the two most important stakeholders are passengers, like you all, and our drivers. And they are in two different worlds, right? To our passengers, they are very demanding. They expect vehicles on time, and their objective is to go from point A to point B. But the other side of the world is very different, right? And most of our drivers are from a low-income group. They are more worried about their earnings for the day. How can they bring food to the table for their families? How can they pay their lease by the end of the month? How can they settle all the other costs of running their vehicles and their families? So you can see that there's two different kinds of worlds here. And in our platform, we need to actually balance the two. And we're doing so many things to make sure we keep both sides happy, right? We have to make sure the drivers get a good income, but at the same time, provide our passengers with a good price to move from the city. So for us, with all these trips that are taking place, our data is our holy grail. The big data that we keep we keep acquiring has become a treasure trove for us. You know, our biggest competition is not really another taxi company. It's probably, and it is actually, vehicle ownership. What we want to see is how can we move most of you all from driving your cars to using our platform. Because if you look at it, it actually makes a lot of economic sense to use a Pick-me to go to your work, and in fact go back home and do all the other things that you normally do in your cars. But to do this, we need to bring a lot of personalization. And that's like a very important element in making sure that we convince a vehicle owner to switch to our Pick-me platform. And we've seen this trend happening. And what we've seen is for every vehicle we bring onto the road, we put 3 other vehicles out of the road. Right? I mean, we are coming to a phase where real estate is very expensive. Finding parking space is becoming expensive. Companies are finding it difficult to find parking space, right? So we become a fantastic solution for all the problems of driving your vehicle. From there onwards, we, as a company, we look at all the pickup locations. You know, it's very important that we ensure that our pickup locations of our passengers are personalized as much as possible so that we provide a better experience. As you will see in the future, we'll in fact personalize that a lot more, trying to understand what a particular person would want out of the travel experience. Then, of course, while on the journey, we want to see how we can improve the experience with the vehicle and with the driver. And then, of course, the drop location. Where is she going? Where is he going? And how can we improve that experience? We've already done a few experiments already. We're working with a few partners. In fact, there are certain exercises that we're already doing where we reimburse the cost of travel if you get down at a place, so that we encourage them not to bring their vehicles to that location. So these are special experiments that we're doing to ensure that passengers have a great experience through the platform. And obviously, we have competition. And as we personalize, we think we can build a lot of loyalty from our passengers using our Pick-me platform. We're very proud of this. You know, we are Sri Lankan. We're proud of the technology that we built, and we want to make sure that we cater to the Sri Lankan market very well. We understand our passengers better than anyone else. We understand our drivers better than anyone else, and we want to make sure that we play in this space very strongly. We've done so many things that so many features have come out to make sure that we cater to the local requirements. And this is what you will see in the future. You will start to begin to see us bringing out features that are more local and a lot more personalized in the future. So that ends my presentation. I'm happy to take questions maybe at the panel discussion. Thank you very much.